point of attack. There's a great principle to kick your story off and get it started in a way that draws the audience in and gets them ready to stay engaged as the story unfolds. Point of attack is when the story really starts. When you go into a movie theater and the trailers finally stop and the screen goes dark and the movie starts up, the first thing that happens is you're introduced to a new world. And I'll talk about that more in other videos. But the world of the movie has both a physical reality and it has a psychological reality. And it's different from the day-to-day reality that the audience has been living in and what they experienced when they were parking their car and buying popcorn and getting into their seats in the theater. So in the first part of the movie, we see this world. We are introduced to this new world. It's physical and it's psychological reality. And we get a sense of the ordinary routine of how this world functions. And then something happens that intrudes into this world and disrupts that ordinary routine. And it's usually some kind of coincidence, something that just happened to occur. And what you can say about this incident is, if that one coincidence hadn't taken place, if that one thing that happened that one day didn't happen, then the whole story wouldn't have happened. It can happen anywhere in the first act. Usually it happens in the first sequence, and often it happens right in the first 5 minutes of the movie. And that's the point of attack. You'll see what I mean when we look at the examples. Now, there can be some confusion between the terms point of attack and inciting incident. And please understand there are lots of very knowledgeable people with different terms for these same things. That's okay. It's important for you to understand the principles behind the words, whatever they're called, so that you can use the principles, right? For me, a point of attack is a point. It happens at one moment. An inciting incident can happen over a period of time and usually gets fully set up at the end of the first act. The inciting incident is where the main tension of the film is fully established, and that tension is going to drive the second act. But the point of attack is what disrupts the world and gets the story rolling. And it's important in setting up the inciting incident. It's helpful to me to understand how the point of attack works so that you can sharpen it, so that you can make it clear. And if you've got a muddy or unclear point of attack, or if you don't have a point of attack at all, you might look at your script and say, this could be stronger if we had a good point of attack that tells the audience that there's something coming and sets them up for that. Because what you're doing is you're asking the audience to invest their own psychic energy in your story. And a good point of attack gets them ready to do that. It draws them in. It's not some kind of rule that you have to obey and you have to do it a certain way and it has to happen on a certain page. It's something that will help you to draw your audience in and to get your story launched so that it hits more powerfully. Now, one of the things I'll point out is that I don't know for sure, but I'm guessing, and I think I'm right. But if you went back and read the first drafts of these screenplays, I bet you that the point of attack either wasn't there at all or it wasn't nearly as sharp and clear as it ended up, because it's something that you develop and you work on in the rewriting process, and that's when it becomes stronger. So what I would suggest is, if you've got a screenplay underway or if you've got a draft written, go back and read your first act and check and see, is there a point of attack here? Could I make it stronger? Would it launch my story more powerfully if I included a strong point of attack where, boom, suddenly something comes in and launches the story in a way that keeps the audience on the edge of their seats?